All right, so I've got the sheet here for the ranking system. Let's talk some basics, the rankings, the numbers, all of the pretty colors. And this came from when I'm trying to trade a squeeze. So here's a 2-hour chart on Broadcom. To take that compression and call for timing and direction, looking for 15 different directional criteria: momentum, structure, and the trend. If we find a squeeze of that full 15, in my book, that makes for an A+ setup. So Broadcom here, we have the trend, momentum, full 15 points, getting the green arrow. So yeah, all of the bells and the pretty whistles. That can make for a good. It can make for a good setup on one time frame. What I learned was if I take the 8 time frames I like to trade, that being the weekly, the 3-day, the 2-day daily, 4-hour, 2-hour, hourly, 30, 15, and the 5. If I take those 8 different time frames, look for the 15 different directional criteria, the absolute strongest stocks, they have 120 points. 8 different time frames, the full 15. Checking all the boxes. So back here to the leaderboard. Okay, so if we look at maybe the communication sector here, the XLC, we've taken, again, the 8 different time frames, check for the 15 different criteria. At their absolute strongest, you're going to get 120 points. Right now, the XLC has 118. Therefore, she's at 98% of its best possible score. Down here, you have real estate, negative 39. Taking the 8 time frames, 15 points, and they have a negative 47. So for that one, more things work in the favor of the bears and the bulls. So there's your basics. In a few sections here, we have the indexes, the sectors, top 20 bull, top 20 bear, my focus list, and the Big 10 basket. So here's pretty much a process. First question, what kind of market am I in? Is it bullish, bearish? Am I thinking long, short, neutral? So that comes from the combination of the index scores, the Big 10, and the sectors. What we're doing here for the index tab, taking all the scores here from the S&Ps, QQQ, Dow Jones, etc. Collectively, we're looking for about 600 different things. Right now, the indexes are at 87% of that best possible 600. They're bullish, right? They're bullish. The Big 10 basket is 68, and the sectors here at 45. Combine all three. We've got a market at 60% of its best possible score. So therefore, we're in a bull market. I'm not trying to short that. I'm focusing on the buy side. Then I get context in terms of indexes. Who leads the charge? They're all pretty close. It goes S&Ps, QQQ, IWM, Dow Jones, and the RSP. Then I get more context here from the sectors. Top 5 right now would be XLC, Big 10 basket, the SMH, XLY, XLK. That's basically big tech, big semis. Basically, these 10 names up here. Given that context, I can take the Big 10 basket, and it's Google number 1. Then we're looking at Meta. You got the Broadcom, Amazon, Apple, all the way down to Microsoft. So not based on my opinion, not based on opinion, based on my thought process. The leaderboard says I'm in a bull market, led by the communications, Big 10 basket, big tech, big semis. In those baskets, it is Google, Meta, Broadcom, etc. All right, now what do? Then I take my squeeze watch list. Based on that context, I'm looking for, again, things like Broadcom on a 2-hour chart. I would look at maybe a TSM here on that 2-day squeeze. But I found these make for the best trades. Don't make it all about that one given setup. And granted, we're only trying to trade the best looking setups. We can add way more edge with, all right, I found that one moment in time. I've got the squeeze, compression, I got all the directional criteria, all the alignment, the entry. If I can combine that with the right market behind it, the right sector leadership behind it, the relative strength leadership, it makes for a better trade over the course of a series of trades, as Mark Douglas would say. So yeah, more coming up on that in a couple of webinars here, but again, a few basics. I've got my 15 different directional criteria, structure, momentum, and the trend. We take that across the 8 different time frames I like to trade. For the bulls, best possible score is a positive 120. And for the bear skis, your best possible score would be a negative 120. From that, we figure out the market context, bullish, bearish, neutral, sector rankings, top 20 bull, top 20 bear. That's how I figure out, all right, where can I go take that squeeze and go and get busy? Hope you found that helpful. More on that coming up here soon.